Aw, shit. Polly's here on time today. Hi, Polly.
Hello.
Wait, no, I don't want to go farther. Here, let me fix this so that I'm more in the middle. I have a quick question for you.
All right.
Was I supposed to send you all of the files? Oh, we're live, by the way. Oh,
yeah.
Why am I not there anymore? No. Okay. So my full question, not the partial question that I just gave you. Was I supposed to send you all of the files in the Games for Poly thing?
Sure. Why not?
Okay.
I mean, no rush, but.
Well, I have a whole big file of Weebo Twilight Saga nonsense. So.
Oh, fair enough. Did you compress the
No.
OBS files?
I did not.
I mean, you don't have to. It just means I'm going to have to do it.
Sorry. So, for those of you who are unaware, Polly and I and Far, we all watched Twilight this weekend. And I hate myself now.
Like all 5 movies, Twilight.
Like all 5 movies, Twilight. Plus some deleted scenes from New Moon that we totally didn't need to see. Quite honestly. It was a mess.
We haven't quite.
I can't believe you made me do that. What?
As far as idea, I still haven't gotten the notification for your stream. What the fuck?
Seriously?
There we go. There you are.
So, you know how YouTube likes to fuck over creators on a periodic basis?
I am aware of this, yes.
Yeah. So, part of that fuckage this year, at least within the last couple of months, and this is also me being to blame for this, because I haven't really posted a lot in the last couple of months because I've been busy. But I keep losing a lot of subscribers, and I went and I checked to see the reasoning or the subscription source, and most of the negatives happen to be with deleted or closed accounts. Thanks, YouTube. Much appreciated.
Huh.
Because they've been unclogging the YouTube sphere quite frequently recently.
Is that what they think of it as? Unclogging?
I guess. I don't know. Because think about it. Each account takes up a certain amount of server space, and inactive accounts need to be purged in order to clear out that space in order to, like, kind of, you know, get some price saving or some it's a money saving procedure, basically.
No, I get the idea. There's getting rid of dead wood, as they would probably claim it. You're looking at 9.61 thousand subscribers, according to my screen.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, I find it interesting that you would blame YouTube for this. Now,
well, half of it's YouTube. The other, because I can actually see where the sources of the lost subscriptions are for the last 3 months, and most of them have been because of closed accounts. The other half, of course, is because I have been slacking in my creative process. I understand that. So I get the message, people.
I think most of the people that have had their accounts yeeted were just people that, supported false narratives about certain recent elections.
Oh, totally, yeah. That's the reason why.
Yep, you just know a lot of problematic people that sub to your content.
Apparently. It's fine. We're taking it in a new direction. Not a new direction, but right now the only thing that I really feel impassioned about to do is make fun of shitty web romance novels on the internet. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to recruit all of your favorite YouTubers, your favorite intellectuals.
That's the new direction that you're taking it?
No, it's just something that I want to start doing in addition to other videos, because I still want to do all of my other normal content. It's just finding something to be passionate about enough to talk about it, to spend time on it with my limited amount of time these days has been more difficult, it seems. Because I had like a video that I was going to do a few weeks ago revolving around the Starfire nonsense. But then I got halfway through the script and went, I don't care.
Yeah, he was a boring Autobot. Basically a ripoff of a Vertec fighter from Robotech anyway, so who cares?
Wait, who are you talking about? I was talking about the Starfire thing.
Yeah.
You said he.
You're not talking about the Transformer Starfire? What are you talking about?
Mm-mm. No, Starfire.
Yeah, I know.
The Tamarinian alien from DC Comics, you ignorant slut.
Oh, if you guys decide to listen in to the Twilight commentary that we do and watch the movies with us, you will hear Weebo destroy joke after joke after joke after.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm not trying to say they're all gems.
I'm a wet blanket.
I'm not saying these are brilliant pieces of humor that I planned out or anything of the kind. We're talking minor, mild little witticisms at best. But Weebo has to deconstruct everyone piece by piece.
That's half the entertainment value of the... Are they riff tracks? Because I don't feel like they're riff tracks. They're just us being assholes for however many hours that we will be.
Yeah. No, the riff tracks are where you actually bother to write material, in my opinion.
Yeah, we didn't write any of it. We just sat down and watched it all the way through and gave our honest to God in the moment opinion, and some of it's pretty raw.
Yeah. Of course, there's times where there's like 30 seconds or a minute of just dead silence because we're just watching the movie. It's hey, if for some strange reason you decided to watch all 5 Twilight movies and wanted someone to watch them with us. That's the idea.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Lanny Stanfield, for the donation. Hope you guys enjoyed Breaking Wind together. Haha, yeah, Breaking Wind, Breaking Dawn. For those of you who are unfamiliar. What? Oh, the Streamlabs thing is working now. Okay. I just heard the sound in my ear. Okay. Gotcha. Cool. Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel impassioned about anything politically enough. Actually, no, that's not true. There's one topic that I would love to talk about. And I am going to save it for a video, but it's going to take a little bit more time. But other than that, I haven't really felt super pissy about anything, like enough to make a video. And I don't know if it's because I'm tired, if it's because I've grown more mature this year.
No, that's not it.
You can say that with certainty. I don't think it's that one, actually. I don't think I've matured. I don't know if it's because nothing that interests me has actually been going on as of late. Or if, and I hate to say this out loud, but am I losing my outrage over things that just I don't care about anymore? I don't know. Because I still care about a lot of the stuff that I have made videos about in the past, but it gets to a point where you're like, I've already said this, and I don't want to be repetitive, and
that hasn't stopped 98% of the creators I know.
Yeah, maybe I'm just getting more jaded, faithless. No, I don't know, the worse, the longer I go between videos, the worse that I feel, because I feel like I'm failing a commitment that I made to myself to be on top of this stuff. And so, yeah, it's gonna be a little bit depressing, not gonna lie.
Did you actually make a commitment to yourself to be on top of this stuff?
Yeah, I did.
Like the stories themselves, or creating content?
No, creating content.
Okay.
Like, when I started this channel, it was with the intent that, hey, I'm gonna just like actively do this. Let's try for the goal was a video every week. And that has not been maintained this year. It's been an abysmal year for content production. Faithless says outrage exhaustion is real. I guess. Because it's not like I feel less impassioned about like men's rights, all right? I still oh, boyfriend just did the fist thing. I still think that those are worth fighting for. But I've done a lot in terms of the content surrounding men's rights already. And like I said, I don't want to repeat myself unless I come across a topic that I could totally do better. But I need examples of that in order to touch on it so it can be more relevant, you know? Otherwise, it just feels like I'm rehashing old news for the hell of it. I still feel impassioned about like the we were talking during the Twilight Saga viewing about the fetus is the parasite thing, because pro-life versus pro-choice came up during the fourth movie, was it? Yeah, I still feel impassioned about that. But it's not a relevant topic right now, and I said a lot of what I wanted to say in my video about it previously. So, you know, I don't want to be repetitive. I want to find new avenues to pursue, and I'm having a struggle doing that. So if you guys have anything that you think would be worthy of like looking into, I don't even have to make a video about it, but just, I don't know, inspiration, feel free to like reach out and hit me with that shit.
Well, you could throw caution in the wind
Mm-hmm.
by selecting a subject that other people are red hot about, and you just do a series of video shorts saying, yeah, I don't care.
I could do, maybe.
It invite people to tell you to fuck off. You want, you know, so swat the hornet's nest.
Yeah.
Be like, men's rights activists, I care about a lot of things you say, but this circumcision thing, let it go. I mean, no one cares. Not really. You're on the losing end of this one.
Only the people who've like really got some mangled junk down there.
Mangled junk.
Those are the ones that really care.
I mean, they got machines to do it. It's really sanitary. And the Jewish, what are the professional rabbis called? Moils. The Moils. Yeah. They know what they're doing. It's fine. Barely ever is a mistake made.
It's kind of like a tried practice at this point.
Yeah, it's like you don't hear me complaining about my pierced ears. It's like the same thing. Just invite it, Weebo.
Maybe. I'll see.
Find things you don't care about.
Find things that I don't care about that everyone else cares about, and I'm just like, what are you doing here?
Go the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I can see that.
Defend casual racism. No one does that.
Oh my God. Casual racism, like, I don't know, the assumption that all of your lawn mowing companies are staffed by Mexicans.
Yeah.
Casual racism?
Not so much casual racism, casual ethnic humor.
Yeah.
So I cracked a joke about your Mexican landscape worker. Shocker.
Oh no, what are you going to do?
And tell 5 Polish jokes to tell them that you get it.
It's got potential.
Your channel ain't go last. But you know, it'll be a fun flame out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Let me just rise and then fall very steeply.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I started this channel, I also didn't want to be one of those other channels that jumped on the bandwagon of content and made and joined the cavalcade of videos about just one single person. Like Riley J. Dennis comes out with a particularly hot take and everyone and their mother is on that. No, I wanted to be a little bit more creative with my content, which is why there are barely any video responses on this channel.
I remember the first collaboration video I did with Sinatra.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, here's the subject. I was like, okay. Or he saw this subject. He said, I want to do it. I wanted to do a collab video with you. This seems like the perfect one. Here we go. And I said, okay, so what is it you want to do with it? He goes, well, just send me your part and I'll edit it into mine. And I was baffled. I was legitimately lost to know what he meant. I'm like, my part, but we haven't even decided what we're doing. He goes, just do a response video. And I was, I've never done one of those. He's like, not one. No. Well, I didn't. You know what I mean? And it was actually really eye-opening because he shared his screen and said, "Look, this is what I do," and showed me Sony Vegas, and which is the same software I use. And he's like, "Look, this is how I record a video." And he explained it, and he was done in like 30 seconds explaining his video making process, and it was jaw dropping. Like, no wonder that man can churn out videos like this. He's got this thing down to a fucking science. It was crazy. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess we could do that. Because what were you thinking? I was like, something that's going to take a lot more time, which explains why he can churn out content and I can't.
Yeah, I guess. It's gonna sound like a dick thing to say though. Some of Sinatra's commentary isn't all that clever.
Oh wow! See, this is what I'm talking about. Invite controversy. See, your next, there's your first going against the grain video. You got 9.61 thousand subs. He's got what? 185,000 subs.
Yeah.
Go ahead, swat that hornet's nest.
Like
Sinatra says, "Ain't that funny?" There, or "Ain't that clever?" That should be your first video title. See how that goes for you.
Well, that's the case with a lot of people who just churn out videos on the daily, like rapid fire like that.
Well, he doesn't churn out on the daily, but
well, you know what I mean. As rapidly as that.
I happen to think his Amberlynn Reed content on his second channel has been positively inspired.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you know what? Okay, so some people are super into that stuff, like just having people talk about the things that are happening as they would in a conversation.
They better be. That's what this entire show is based around.
Yeah,
Weebo.
yeah. Some people are super into that. Okay, maybe I'm not describing it. Maybe some people are just super into people reading the news or watching a clip and then reacting to it off cuff without maybe incorporating any amount of humor or insightful, grandiose, makes you think about the thing commentary.
I don't know. Cocktail hours. Weebo Jones undermines the entire structure of our very own live stream.
That's not what I'm doing. Because we actually have a back and forth conversation. What I'm talking about is the reaction style videos. Where you take a piece of thing and then you digest it for the audience and then put it out in a video. So they're getting it through the lens of your commentary.
I hear you.
Yeah.
That could be your video series title, by the way. A piece of thing digested by Weebo.
A piece of thing.
Here, take a look at this.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I see that's been on the stream for a while now.
See?
I am not Starfire. Oh my god.
She's not.
No, she's not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. She's as much not that giant robot as she's not a sexy, scantily clad alien that people want to talk to with a bubbly personality.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's equally not either one of those things.
You know what she is?
Wet blanket?
Well, that, but a queer, goth, fat, angsty teenager who desperately wants to not live under the shadow of their mother. A giant robot. Same body types as Bar.
Oh, shit.
Zombie Teddy says that's Starscream.
No, that's Starfire.
Okay.
Starscream's a Decepticon. He clearly has an Autobot symbol in the Sims.
I have only ever seen the live action Transformers movies.
Oh God.
That is the extent of my experience with the Transformers franchise. Sorry guys.
Well, that's the bad thing about it. If you want to get like super nerdy on it, Hasbro? Is that who owns Transformers? I think Hasbro.
Yes, maybe. I don't know.
They got to a point where they're like, hey, there's this thing out there called BattleTech that ripped off this thing called Robotech. We're going to rip them both off, and we're going to have a Transformer called Starfire. And he's a jet plane that looks just exactly like that in both like fighter mode and mech mode.
So was Transformers originally a comic book series or like a TV show for kids? Or was it just toys that they had to sell, and so they created something to enthuse and entice the kids into buying the toys?
Yeah, Functional's got a good description of it. Starfire was just a clone of Jetfire, and that was a picture of Jetfire. Starfire is a Decepticon. Yes. Yeah. And yeah, they just, you know what? Here's the thing. We talked about this in comic book curation, actually. Here's what it comes down to, an indictment of the laziness of comic book writers. They just had to sell products. That's what the Transformers are, and that's what G.I. Joe is. So we got these toys, and we're going to get together with Marvel Studios Productions, the animation studio, way back in the day in the 80s, and we're going to just create vehicles to sell the toys, and that's that. Okay, and they're awesome. The writers created all this lore and all this, especially G.I. Joe, like this intense amount of lore just to sell toys. Yeah, the writers were handed a task, and it's like, make it interesting, make kids want to use their imaginations and play with these toys by creating these backstories for all the characters.
So kind of like how all the Barbie movies are just intended to sell Barbie toys, and that's it.
Well, Barbie, yeah, I imagine that they are, but I think that would be more like they're not happening at the same time. Like Barbie had been produced by Mattel for years and years before they came out with any kind of animated Barbie anything, right?
Yeah, but
you know what I mean?
The movies certainly don't help the toy franchise.
You mean hurt?
Or don't hurt, sorry, yes. Wow.
No, absolutely not. But it works the same way with, what the fuck was I just thinking of?
I don't know.
Well, yeah, I can't remember.
G.I. Joe's?
No, well, G.I. Joe, in my
opinion,
has got a better backup story than the movies also sold specific dolls. Well, yeah, that's what I mean. What the hell's the backstory and the lore of Barbie? She's Barbie.
She could be anything.
And is, and that's why you got like Disco Barbie and Rocker Barbie and Dr. Barbie and you know, meth dealer Barbie and
Barbie.
Yeah. She's sort of the
movies also sold specific dolls, says Far.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what's the point of Polly Pockets then?
I don't know. You guys brought up Polly Pockets the other day to make fun of me, and I don't know. I don't even know what the fuck a Polly Pockets is.
They're like shorter Barbies, but with little girl bodies.
Shorter Barbies with kid Barbies?
I'll pull. Well, Barbies are for kids anyway, but they're. I'll show you what I mean.
Yeah, and the same group as Pirate Pete brings up, you know, Gem and the holograms.
Oh, what did they do to Polly Pockets?
What?
Oh my god! Oh my god! This is not what I grew up with. Hang on. This is outrageous. These are short and stubby Polly Pockets. We need the older Polly Pockets. Yep, maybe, kind of similar. But basically, yeah, they're shorter versions of Barbies with plastic hair instead of fake hair. Oh gosh. They got rubber clothes instead of actual cloth clothing, so it's easier to put on and take off. There we go. That's the Polly Pockets. Those are the Polly Pockets that I grew up with. Why are they all naked? Yeah. Oh, these are vintage. Interesting. Yeah, apparently they rebranded the Polly Pockets. That just ruins my day. That has ruined my entire day. I am salty about that.
My point being is that all of this serves as a really strong indictment of modern comic book writers, because they already have established characters with established lore and they still can't come up with shit. Like, just in terms of their lack of imagination and lack of storytelling, that nothing happens. They're all devotees of decompressed storytelling, meaning stretch out the story and have as little happen as possible, because really you're writing for the graphic novels. You're writing for the bookshelf editions, the compiled editions where there's, issues 1 through 10 are sold in one bookshelf format. Yeah. And you can tell, because of the way that the story arc plays out, happens in time with how many pages are going to be, not in a floppy, meaning like a 22 or 23 page softback comic book, but in the hardback glossy paper ones. And so, like I said, they're all devoted to decompress storytelling, to stretch it out and tell it in that format. But then they still want $4 or more for the 22, 23 page copies. And that's why the comic book industry sales have collapsed. But they have a new thing to blame it on now. COVID.
Yeah, because the thing that you're going to do when you can't leave the house and do anything is not read comic books, right? Or not read at all.
So I mean, like, if anything, it should have been a fucking explosion of comic books, because people aren't leaving. It's been an explosion for all the streaming services. It's been an explosion for gaming, for painting. Games Workshop and Warhammer 40K has seen an explosion. People are painting their minis, and people are like, well, all anyone wants to do is the super high-tech video games. Games Workshop, are you fucking crazy? Is it like pen and paper tabletop gaming where people have to paint their own plastic miniatures? That's as like 1950s as it gets, if you know what I mean. Like, that's people are still interested in lots of different things. You guys just write shitty stories because you're all interested in writing what's going to get your little SJW hearts beating, because you view the comic books as a vehicle of shaping children into thinking like you. Bunch of fucking weirdos. Yeah, and I don't care. Prospero accused me of yelling at clouds the other day, and I'm like, yeah, so what?
Old man yells at clouds.
Well, yeah, absolutely, man. It was the Simpsons meme come to life, because I don't fucking care. It's true. Bunch of fucking weirdos. I'm not trying to promote my own show or my channel, which you should.
Yes, you are. What are you talking about? Own it.
Because on Comic Book Curious, Jack Quiz and I brought up multiple articles where they say that it's irresponsible, if you're a comic book writer, to not do this, because otherwise you're abusing young minds that will be reading your comic books. And if you're writing neo-fascist white cis males that oppress everyone, then you're normalizing oppression. They actually say shit like that. Have you ever read any of these psychopaths' Twitter accounts? Well, you don't have to. You can come watch Comic Book Curation and watch us suffer through it. It's like, you people are fucking crazy.
You know what irks me? Oh, sorry. Were you done?
Marxists who think that they're on a fucking crusade?
No, but like, well, yes, but no. Specifically, what irks me about their diatribes is the tendency for them to default to the reasoning of, well, we need to police you because you are poisoning the minds of a whole bunch of people. Your wrongthink is going to cause a resurgence of more wrongthink amongst people, and then their wrongthink is going to cause actions against XYZ minority person group.
Right.
And the thing that irks me about that is the lack of acknowledgement of personal autonomy on the part of the person consuming the entertainment in any capacity. I mean, like, because the world is full of such horrible nonsense, such evil. Every day we are bombarded on the news or on Twitter by a horrid story, or like just some bullshit commentator or commenter person with a wrong opinion. And does that cause anyone to actually go in and like racist rampage on the internet all the time? No, of course not. Or is that going to cause the youth of America to just Yeah. I mean, they really don't give a lot of credit to people being able to make their own decisions, to do the right thing versus not. Like, yes,
No.
I know we have highlights of horrible instances in our past, just collectively, and also individuals who are just, oh my gosh, could have been raised a lot better. But you cannot take a very select minority of instances and broadly apply it to the rest of everyone else unless you are that black-pilled about the human condition, in that you think that no matter what we do, humans will always opt for their own self-interest, for their own horrible mindset, for the worst of the worst, instead of opting for an alternative. But they don't get
Look,
it. Humanity's a mix
I'm just saying, if there hadn't been decades worth of Crusade stories first, they never would have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the actual Crusades.
Yes. There were no Weebo. There were no Crusade stories. It was
Crusades. I'm so confused about what you're talking about.
You're saying people don't go out on people are not that so easily influenced by reading stories or being influenced by things that they're going to go out and IRL do them, right? Because otherwise people would be running around expecting it to be a cyberpunk world right now, shooting people and carjacking and so forth, because they're all playing Cyberpunk 2077. They give people very little credit. This is not the argument that you're making. They're not so easily influenced by the media that they consume, right? Okay.
Right.
And I said, yeah. Now, if there hadn't been decades worth of Crusade stories, then we could have avoided the whole thing. Faye was meant to be a quick little quippy joke, you know, as the commonly referenced worst thing that happened in Western history, the Crusades.
Is it though?
No, it's totally not. That was part of the joke. I could just gonna shake you when I meet you in real life. I'm just gonna grab you by both shoulders and just shake you.
Polly, is that the media influencing you again? Is that the media influencing you, a man, to beat up on a woman, me?
No, because far threats to slap me all the time, and unless there's a plethora of Australian male abuse videos that I'm not aware of, is there? I don't know. Maybe there is.
Maybe. Yeah, no. This gendered violence, is this encouraged by the mainstream media, Polly? It's all those comic books you read, isn't it?
What?
It's all those comic books you read, isn't it?
Yes, it has actually convinced me, because women are just getting knocked the fuck out left, right, and center in every comic I read.
Oh yeah, and they chronically walk around wearing spandex tight suits that show off all their assets.
No, if only.
You wish.
So you know what? Somebody just brought up your chair.
Yeah.
Yes.
My gamer chair.
Yes.
G tracing.
Michael Trudell says, "I love that chair, Weebo. Where did you buy that?"
Amazon, but I had to put it together myself.
Tell me. I've always been curious about these chairs. I don't know what to describe. They kind of look like if a 12-year-old had designed a seat for a jet fighter.
It's a racing chair, basically. Like, this is in the style of race car chairs.
Are they?
Yeah. If you ever
sat in a regular, I've never even sat in a gaming chair ever. Like, is it like great lumbar support? What's the point of them? Are they just like, you tell me? So
it does come with a detachable lumbar support. I've since taken it off because I didn't like the way that it felt after a while. Don't you fucking dare! Ah! He threw a Nerf bullet at me.
And this is why Santa doesn't want to give children Nerf guns, because violence results against women.
It's that Cyberpunk 2077.
Is that enabling behavior? That domestic abuse enabling she just engaged in? My God.
It also explains why he's mooning me right now.
I got it. And now on-screen nudity. Fuck.
Yep, he's being influenced by his video games. As you all know, video games lead to violence.
Is he playing Cyberpunk?
Yeah, he is actually.
Yeah.
I love you.
I bet you think you do.
I do! I wouldn't put up with your nonsense if I didn't.
I don't know about that.
All right.
Do you see this nonsense? Anyway, so the chair. The single greatest feature of this, is the fact that I can do this.
Okay, that actually is pretty slick.
Yeah, I can go all the way back.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know they did that.
Later. We'll talk later, okay? He's being funny off camera. But yeah, I like the fact that I can lay down, because when we were watching the movie, it was a fantastic asset. And I can stop it wherever I want all the way down, like at the angle, wherever I want. And I was watching the movie like this.
Does it have an armrest?
Yes, it does.
Okay. It looked like your hands are going down by your sides. You know, let me tell you a story about armrests on office chairs that are designed for like long-term seating that you're going to be sitting there for a while.
Yeah.
The department at my old campus decided in their infinite wisdom to purchase all new chairs. So unless you had brought in a personal chair, which some people had,
yeah,
all our old chairs, they just came in one weekend, collected them all, and we came back in, and there were all new chairs. They paid $175 each, mind you, for these office chairs. They had no fucking arms on them.
Ew.
Yeah, that was somebody's great fucking idea. And it's like, we're talking a bunch of grad students here. They're going to be sitting in these things for hours on end doing untold amounts of research and reading and paper grading and all sorts of shit.
Yeah.
And no armrests. You know what it was like to read a book if you didn't have your elbows propped up on the fucking desk in front of you? You'd lean back and you'd have to like rest your arm. Like, it was just, they're called armrests for a reason. It's a very functional name.
I don't think this chair actually needs armrest, though, to be honest, because it doesn't help with the purpose of what it is that I intend to do with this, because the desk acts like an armrest for me, because I rest my arms on like the area just before the keyboard or like the area just before the mouse, and that is satisfactory. But I do like this chair. I like it a lot more than my current desk office. I don't know if I'll like it more than... Oh, that's right. I have to inform the audience. I got a new job. And I start next week, Monday.
Woohoo! Employment.
Yeah. I got the confirmation email last week, Tuesday. This is what I was kind of hinting at regarding big changes and shenanigans last cocktail hour. And then I just totally spaced on letting everyone know. But yeah, I got a new job as a software engineer, and I quit my old job. So no more tech support with Weebo. But we'll see what kind of chair they give me for the office that I will be working in.
Oh, they're not making you work remotely to begin with?
No, I'll be working remotely, but when I'm on site, I will have a place to sit. And I do have to go in for orientation. Got to do all the fun stuff. Super important. Onboarding activities like benefits setup and direct deposit and all of the things. Super hyped. This will be my 5th job this year.
Jesus Christ.
Well, because I pulled double duty a lot. Like, first I was a speech tutor and a barista, and then I was a bartender, and then I was tech support, and now I'll be a software engineer. Like, I'll be finishing off the year. Like, I've sloped up. I've grown exponentially this year, and the end of the year is just being like, oof, all the way up here in terms of career aspects.
So, chat, you know those people that you like silently curse or verbally yell loud curse when a character will spawn like molded into a city street, or you go to a website and the search engine inside that site can't find you through to anything because all the links are broken? It's someone like Weebo that's responsible. A software engineer.
Thanks for that. Rude. You calling me out? As far as like, give me your job log, hand it over in the bag. Okay. I don't know if it's luck because. Okay, so let me tell you the story of how this happened. I applied for this job the same time that I applied for my current job. And the current job reached out to me first, and it took the new job 3 months to finally reach out to me after I had completely given up hope. And then, of course, I had to do like the first interview to sell my personality, and then the second interview to sell my skills, because I had to showcase that I could actually do the shit that I was boasting about during the previous interview. And then I had to wait for a phone call while at my current job for the potential new job, or for the confirmation or for the rejection from the new job. The phone call that I got was in the middle of the day, and I had to like quickly take a 15. I'm like, can you hold for a sec? I just gotta hightail it out of here. So I answered the call in the parking lot, and she tells me, you got the job. And then she tells me a little bit more information, and I'm like, I want the job. Give it to me now. And she's like, when can you start? We would like you to start the 21st. Or you could start the 4th of January. And I go, 21st is good. Let's do that. But I didn't get the paper offer until Tuesday, which is less than 2 weeks away from when I would like to start the new job. And I didn't want to hand in my 2 weeks until I got the letter confirmation, because you don't really do that. Like, even when you know you have the job, you wait for the paper offer and to accept that paper offer before you quit your current stable income with benefits. But yeah. It was stressful this year. Michael Hatfield, 5 jobs, but they are all upgrades. Yeah. At this time last year, I was a barista. A barista with less than 16 hours of work a week, and a speech tutor who could only tutor for about 3 hours a week per the agreement I had with my school, because work study hours are limited to your academic awards and your household income, or what they think that your parents can shill out. Whether or not they are actually shilling out, that's another thing. Some people get screwed like that. So yeah, it's been an interesting roller coaster of a year for me. And it's not over yet. We still have half a month left. Ugh. Polly?
Yes.
What's the most amount of jobs that you've had in a year?
Oh, holy shit.
Like, I'm not talking about contracts. I'm talking about like separate individual things that you do.
Oh, the IRS considers those separate individual things.
Well, do I look like the IRS to you?
No, but I mean,
yeah, I know.
What standard are we going off of here then?
Are you okay? So like, all the jobs that I mentioned were different in their function. So a barista is not the same as a bartender, is not the same as a speech tutor, is not the same as tech support, is not the same as a software engineer.
Mm-hmm.
So they are all very different in their function.
I see what you're saying. Probably like 3 or 4. There's the most different, like totally different jobs that I've had in a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so now how many jobs have you had at the same time, most total? Like consecutively, like.
Consecutively or simultaneously?
Simultaneously. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for.
Does an internship count as one of them?
Yeah,
Because
sure.
it's a job, but you're not getting paid.
I'll allow it.
You're being paid in experience.
Why is that even legal, though?
Washington, D.C. would collapse overnight if it weren't for
Well, yeah, but isn't
internships.
Washington, D.C. staffed by interns whose parents are loaded as fuck?
Bite your tongue. I interned and my parents are not loaded as fuck.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
You do it because do you want experience or not? And it's
Yeah.
oh yeah, you could do this job. I mean, we're not going to pay you though. Oh, well.
Oh.
Besides, how would Senate and congressional staffers get dates if it wasn't for being able to select who are interns?
Oh my god.
Hey.
Polly, are you trying to admit something to the public here?
No, I'm just saying it's there are a lot of shockingly attractive female interns and male interns for that matter.
All right, Polly, show me on the doll where the senator touched you.
No, that's what I mean. It's not the senators and the representatives that you come into contact with. It's the staffers that are hiring you.
Mm-hmm.
It's the salaried employees at various federal places that are hiring you, not elected officials. Jesus Christ. No.
So you were sexually harassed by a staffer then?
Yeah, like staffer makes it sound like that's like a low-ranking person. I mean, like
no, they're like head of staff, right?
Yeah, like the staff head of the Congressional Research Service (CRS) is technically a staffer. I mean, it just means somebody who's not elected, but they can be like fantastically powerful, influential, and well paid, and they're a staffer. You know. So to answer your question, 4. I think it's the most simultaneous jobs I had. I was doing a research contract while interning, while I was a full-time student. And one of the things as a full-time student that I was doing was being a paid RA, a research assistant for a professor, as well as being a TA for a different professor, a teaching assistant.
Not bad. Does YouTube count as a job?
No.
But I get paid.
Still no.
Not enough for the IRS to give a fuck.
Yeah, I would. Well, yeah, actually, there is enough for the IRS to give a fuck. I don't.
Any amount is enough for the IRS to give a fuck.
I mean, technically, if I come up to you and say, like, you know, hey, you know all that help that you gave me? I don't know. Setting up my computer or something like that. Here's $20 to show my appreciation for your time. The IRS wants a piece of that. They want you to report it at the very least, is what I should say. It's up to you to figure out whether or not it's should not be included as taxable income because it falls in a certain area or beneath a certain amount based on federal or state taxes, etc. But like, yeah, every time money changes hands, the IRS kind of wants to fucking know, yo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what if I like give it to you as a gift? Then
gifts, as you should know, someone who's filed their own taxes are definitely included on your tax returns. They want to know, yo.
I can't wait because this coming year is probably going to be the first year that I actually do my own taxes. Well, not me, because I have an accountant for that. But it'll be the first year that I file not as a dependent. Because I'm not.
Are you listening to... How old are you?
22.
22. Are you listening to this chat? Did you hear what she just said? Oh, yeah, but the people that enter in Washington, D.C. are all like wealthy parents and have so much money. Now, listen, I'm going to get my account to write this off, and I'm no longer independent at 22 years old in my $300 gaming chair. You know,
this wasn't $300.
It's gonna shake you. I just.
And the only reason I filed as a dependent was because I lived in my dad's house at the time, technically, as a college student.
No, it's fine. I get the idea. I would declare a fucking goldfish as a dependent if I could. Just because, like I said, the IRS, like if money's changing hands, the government is there going, hello, where's our cut?
It's why cash is king. My bartending gig. Oof.
You're supposed to declare your tips.
Yeah, I do.
That's an honest face.
I do declare my tips, Polly.
The IRS will allow for a one-time cash gift untaxed. Yes, they will, but they want to know about it. God damn it.
Yeah, apparently.
I guess a better way to say it would be they want you to know they want to know about it. You know, so it's like, do I need to declare this? That's the question they want you asking yourself. So, yeah,
well,
okay.
That's why I have an accountant, so he can answer
like,
that.
there's a one-time, like somebody gives you like I said, $100 because you really, really helped them set up a computer and the desk that goes along with it or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it took like the whole weekend, and it was really generous. So you slip them a scene out. They want you thinking, where does this fit on my tax form? Do I need to declare this? Well, I'm going to have to go look up the tax rules and see. That's the whole point, in my opinion.
Yeah. But that's why you have an accountant, Polly. You got to get an accountant, especially if you have like 4 jobs at the same time. Because keeping track of all that nonsense is...
Does commission artist count as a job? Yes, Far it does.
Yes, but all of my payments to you, Far, are gifts.
Yes. Keeper Dam asks, how much sleep did you get per night? I was usually in bed by 1:30, 1:45, and then I was up the next day for 7 to be off to work.
Daniel Foreman, we need taxes. Those rats are not going to pay for themselves. Yeah. Faithless, I get gifted. I don't get paid. Exactly. Anything that I send to somebody, I write down as a gift. Not as, like, a business expense, necessarily.
Right.
Yeah. So there's that. Anything under 5,000 cash income isn't taxable. I think it was actually, I thought it was $6,000. I'm pretty sure it was 6,000 because I looked that up because I think it was this year that I actually made. No, I looked this up last year because I wasn't sure last year if I made enough to be taxed because I know there is a threshold. But I do believe it is 6,000. But of course, it is susceptible to change, is it not? Anyway, taxes. You know, I always make that joke, like when we don't have anything to talk about. I'm like, so, taxes. But now we've actually hit that, so now I don't know where to go from here, Polly.
How much did you pay for your chair? You still haven't.
I can actually look it up. I want to say it was like 150. Of course, a business expense. My accountant would be so proud of me. He's actually the family accountant. Like, he is the accountant that my father used for his entire adult life. He's the accountant that my grandfather and my grandmother used when my grandfather was still alive. He's the accountant that my other grandfather on my mother's side used as well. So he's very aligned with the family. It sounds kind of mobbish, doesn't it? The family accountant.
No.
No?
It sounds Hyannisport, Maine, upper crusty.
Does it? I always thought it sounded kind of mobby.
No,
because when you refer to the family, it sounds that part sounds mobby. The family. Okay, so this chair was $160 actually.
Oh,
$300.
Yeah, the $300 edition gives you a hand job.
I wish.
Somebody Teddy asks, could you write off a new potato?
If you use it for work, yeah.
Yeah, what and how I declare what I declare is none of your business, Zombie Teddy. No, you're damn right I could and will.
Yeah. And if you think about it too, so anything that you use to make money, like if you work remotely, for instance, a portion of what you pay in, say, your mortgage or your rent regarding the room that you do it in, technically could be written off of your taxes too. Same thing with the electricity and the internet. You just have to account a certain percentage. So for me, that percentage is like 17%.
And this is what I mean. There's like Zombie Taste says that wasn't a question, it was a statement. Well, there's no need to get sharp, man. I'm aware. It's it's a question of whether or not you've maxed out the top amount, whether or not you have a personal business already set up. It's like, can you write it off? Like, well, as what becomes the question?
Mm-hmm. Well,
like, it's like, obviously, as a business expense. It's like, do you have a business set up for that such that you can declare it under there, and of what type? And you, in plenty of states, you needn't have a particular business set up. You can have your own business that you just don't have up and going as a going concern as of yet, and still declare certain business, but you're limited in how much you can declare and so on. And I have already maxed out my business expenses in terms of research contracts that I've taken. But that doesn't mean that I couldn't expand that by doing other things, blah, 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 blah.
Of course,
that's all I'm referring to.
If you're registering on your taxes as like an independent business owner to some capacity, you will have to pay a tax on that too. Because there is an independent business owner tax, which sucks balls. But
in your state, there is?
At least, yeah, in my state.
See, this is
according to my accountant.
Go to Texas.
Yeah, let me just pick up all of my life and transport it to Texas.
Turn around and say, boyfriendo, Texas has no state income tax. Did you know that they're very conducive and supportive of small business? Plus,
I wouldn't mind.
You wouldn't mind asking him?
No, I wouldn't mind living in a state with no income tax, because I live in a state with income tax. It sucks.
So do I. Dan Fleman asked, have you seen the Ben Affleck movie, The Accountant? Yes, I liked it. And remember when I said last night, Anna Kendrick, I'm like, look, it's one of the few stars of Twilight that actually didn't have their career completely crushed by this movie series. She was one of them. She was in that.
Yeah. You know, I don't know how she got so famous when she was such a small part of the Twilight franchise. Because, I mean, like, all of Bella's friends didn't
crashed
do shit.
You know what my explanation is for things like that?
Huh.
It's I'm not saying Anna Kendrick is a bad actress, because they asked her to play a prissy, oh my God, totally full of herself character. Like that was and she delivered. Like, but I think a lot of people would go, well, what the hell? Like you just said, she had a rather small part, and the time that she was talking, she was really obnoxious. But that was what they asked her to play. When you see her in The Accountant, she's not that at all, because she's acting.
Yeah.
And
no, what made her wasn't the Twilight franchise. It was Pitch Perfect.
Yeah. But how did she get that?
Good question. She was the...
And I have an answer for that. It's your agent. It's your management, in my opinion. No, I think it's your agent.
He knows how to decode.
So what you're saying is Anna Kendrick's a whore.
Well, yeah. Isn't that the same explanation that everyone uses for like Jennifer Lawrence and for...
Jennifer Lawrence, yeah.
What's her face? What is her face? Oh my gosh, she played Black Widow. Scarlett Johansson. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that is Scarlett Johansson's reputation.
Yeah.
The girl from 18 on who dated every major Hollywood producer for
there you go.
2 months. Dated.
Mm-hmm. Is that what they're calling it nowadays?
Yeah. We dated. We saw each other for a little while. You mean those 3 weeks where you went to Aspen with him? Well, yeah, but we decided that we didn't really work out together. So he fucked the shit out of you in his Aspen apartment for 3 weeks, and now you call that dating? Well, it's Hollywood.
Some people, man, they do that.
Brie Larson and Amber Heard, really? Keep-a-damn, you think so? Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah. I have no idea.
Yeah, I
Well,
don't really dive
I mean,
into the
because
relationships of
you
Hollywood
you take a look at this. This is how I explain it to myself, that it is like agents that are able to, like, some agents are really, really good at scoring you. Yes, there's an element of luck that you're the right person who's going in and reading for certain roles, and you get the roles, and yay, right? And then, but the agent has to be able to get you in there and convince people that you're the right person. Let's take a look at two actresses here for a second, okay? Zendaya and
Yes.
Laura Harrier,
Mhm.
who were both in Spider-Man: Homecoming. Okay?
Yes.
Laura Harrier had the premier role, a fuck of a lot more screen time. Zendaya was a miserable, annoying bitch who had far less screen time. Yet she's gone on to this big career where it was Zendaya. Like, it's just, I think that what has happened to Laura Harrier. Like, okay, yeah, she got this series, I forget what it was called, to go into after that, but like Zendaya is doing she's had like 30 different fucking roles and interviews all over the place. That's also another sign of it, I think. Like, when you're calling up these online publications that are access media and like, oh, we want to do an interview with this new starlet, and we're going to ask her questions about this and that and about her mixed heritage, and what do you think about cultural appropriation of your African American heritage with people wearing, because we noticed that at this one red carpet event, we actually did a story like this on Comic Book Curation. We talked about it. The entire interview was about her fucking hair. She wore her hair in faux dreadlocks for this one red carpet event, and they turned the whole fucking interview into a thing about cultural appropriation and her mixed heritage. It's like, yeah, okay, Laura Harrier's mother's white and her father's black. Those questions could have equally gone to her. So why doesn't the interview go to one person instead of the other person? I think it's just, like I said, it's media contacts, because that's how these scumbag blood-sucking vultures and access media survive, is just by, their agent calling them up and saying, got an interview with the hottest new little Miss TNA?
Probably. I mean,
Yeah.
that's certainly a lot of it. I also think that part of it, sure, is the role as well. Because as far as I know, Laura Harrier's character was only intended to be in the movie for the first, or in the franchise for the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she was a one-hit wonder character.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why she hasn't gone on to be in the rest of the movies, is because she wasn't slotted to.
Producer's decision.
Yeah.
I mean, they bring back people from the fucking dead, much less people who just leave town. I mean, that was it. It's like me and my father are leaving town, and they could have brought it back. They turned, like I said, all of these characters are named after people that are from the Spider-Man mythos, from canon. Like Liz Allen is an actual character that Peter Parker knows, and MJ, but she's not Mary Jane, but she kind of is Mary Jane. And then
yeah, that kind of makes your argument for you, doesn't it?
Yeah,
and not MJ.
And the fat Asian kid is named after a guy that Peter Parker absolutely knows that was secretly the Hobgoblin. Spoilers, but he was another. I mean, but why? Why did you even borrow that name? You might as well have called him like Harry Osborn or some other name from the plethora of people that Peter Parker knows. And then, oh yeah, Flash Thompson, the guy who's like kind of like his high school bully. And I'm like, but Flash Thompson was supposed to be the jock. He's supposed to be like twice Peter Parker's size, a physically imposing guy. Instead, you actually found someone that was even smaller than what's his name? Fuck, I forgot the actor's name who played Peter Parker in the last two Spider-Man films.
Oh shit. Tom Holland.
Tom Holland, thank you. Yeah, you actually managed to find someone smaller than Tom Holland to play Flash Thompson. I mean, like I said, why did you even fucking bother with naming them that? Why didn't he could have just been Jim Johnson?
Well, they also gave Peter a best friend.
Oh yeah, and that's him. That's the fat Asian kid.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, but he didn't know that guy in high school. He met him working at the Daily Bugle. He was like, what the fuck? Ned Leeds? Like, really? That Ned Leeds was a competitor to Peter Parker, who turned out to be a supervillain that had been fighting him for years.
Oh shit! Seriously?
Yeah, the Hobgoblin.
Oh shit!
Yeah. It was a super big reveal back in the day.
Well, I can't wait for that to come out in the franchise. It'd be interesting to see how they do that because they did not set that up.
Let me ask you a question. You've seen the first Spider-Man film, right?
The new Spider-Man, right?
No, well, yeah, I guess it depends all on how.
I mean, like the new version of Spider-Man.
The first one with
yeah,
Tobey Maguire.
Yes. Oh, yes, I did see that.
What did you think of the Green Goblin costume and like the solid mask that Willem Dafoe was behind? That's what I'm basically asking about, the mask. What did you think of that?
Honestly, I didn't. Because when
you just didn't think about it?
I have, until you've asked me about this today, right now, in this moment, I hadn't given it a second thought one way or the other. It's one of those things that I don't really have an opinion on. Why? Sorry.
W. Hart Costin says, I was going to say Tom Hardy. Who is that?
Tom Hardy's Venom.
I love it so much. I know I do that all the time. I'm like, I was going to say.
Which Tom?
Pacey Monroe. Who is Pacey Monroe? Names come to my mind and I can't. Yeah. Tom Hardy's he's an actor. He was in. Yeah, he was Venom. I don't ever think of him as being the guy who played Venom. For some reason, I always think of him as the steady stable of actors that Ascot Boy always hires for his roles, for his movies.
Ascot Boy? What's
his name?
No, I don't know.
Directed the 3 Batman films. Fuck, I can't.
Christopher Nolan?
Christopher Nolan. That guy wears a lot of ascots. I'm not even making that up.
Really?
Yeah, he does.
Look this up.
Whenever he's on set directing, he's always like dressed completely. He's got like, crushed velvet suit and, the right tie and, 3-piece suits while he's directing. He's really into his semi-formal dress and yeah, a lot of ascots.
I don't mind. What do you got against ascots? I'm not seeing any ascots right now. Oh, there's a scarf.
See, look at him. Who directs a movie like that? I mean, that's
a man who takes his attire seriously.
Yes, this is a man who is dedicated to men's fashion.
I appreciate it. All right. After copious years of just witnessing some of the worst attire ever in men of my generation and the way that they dress, it's refreshing to see someone who takes pride in their appearance in this way.
I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying that's what came to mind when I was trying to think of the director's name. I'm like, the guy is always like looking like he stepped off a GQ cover.
I mean, I don't hate it. Anyway, so you were talking about the ascot dude.
Yeah, he's hired Tom Hardy a whole number of times. He was in Inception.
Mm-hmm. He was in Inception. He was in
The Revenant,
The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, and he was in. I got those confused. And The Revenant, and he is such a. He's one of those actors that can morph, like take on different.
Oh yeah.
People so effectively that I did not see Tom Hardy underneath that, like that beard and that accent and the costumery that they had for him. It was insane. He totally outacted Leonardo DiCaprio. He stole the fucking show from him. But it's not hard to steal the thunder from Leonardo DiCaprio in that film because the majority of his lines are grunts and wheezes and winces of pain as he's suffering in the woods. That is the most beautifully shot piece of garbage film ever. Have you seen The Revenant, Weebo?
No, I haven't.
You should watch it. It's gorgeous. The film work, the cinematography, it's amazing. The story is shit. And it's like, but it's based on a real story of Glass the Mountain Man who blah, 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 blah. Like, yeah, it's a revenge tale. And they turned it into fucking garbage. Like the guy was left for dead and they did him wrong. And he comes back to get revenge. And I'm like, oh, fuck yeah. It's like a Western, but Mountain Man style. Like, okay, this is going to be great. No, it was fucking Leonardo DiCaprio crawling around the forest, grunting and groaning.
Which of these is his Revenant character?
Look for the most homeless looking one.
This one?
Possibly. I don't know. It's
or
real
this
small
one
on the screen.
Or, okay, I'm just going to look for Revenant.
Oh yeah, and he
Yeah.
was whatchamacallit in that movie with the Outback.
Oh yeah, that one. Oh, that was him. Okay. So
Mad
it
Max.
was this one. Yes, he was. So in Mad Max, he played Heathcliff. And he played. Didn't he play a boxer too in another movie? Yep, that's the boxer role. Well, okay, so like that man is an actor because that's what you want out of your actors: the ability to morph into someone someone different, someone unique, someone completely like on a whim. Like
That's
this.
that's generally true.
You
Not
you want
not always, but generally true.
you want someone who's not super easily typecast, or someone
Again,
who is
generally true.
in an iconic role and you can only see that person in that role. You want someone who's malleable as a person.
Yeah. I mean, what I keep thinking is like there's people hire Christopher Inquisitors here. He does a good impression of him. What's his name?
I don't know.
The guy who was in Brain Scan and The Deer Hunter. 2 films he was actually like good in before he became like a meme of himself. I keep wanting to call him Christopher Wallace, but that's the Notorious B.I.G.'s real name.
Yeah.
I can't English today.
Apparently not.
Christopher Walken. Thank you, Quiz. Jesus, Christopher Walken. I mean, people hire Christopher Walken to play Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
But then I think of guys like Jack Nicholson. He plays Jack Nicholson in every movie, and thank God, because he's fucking awesome.
Yeah, but like Tom Hardy or Johnny Depp, they can play anyone. They are literally shapeshifters.
Yeah, and it's impressive. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, the
agree.
majority of the time, you're right. It's true. It's pretty awesome when people can play
Mhm.
a whole bunch of different roles because it's sad when people can't. I just,
Mhm.
you know what I was reminded of the other day? Lost in Translation. If you haven't seen that movie, you should watch that movie. It's a good movie.
No, I haven't seen it.
Sofia Coppola's. It's the only movie that I've ever watched of hers that I was really, really impressed by. It's a really well shot, well written movie and well acted. Bill Murray, Scarlett Johansson, and this was Scarlett Johansson before she had become ScarJo, like super Hollywood royalty.
I didn't know there was a transition, but all right.
Yeah. Oh well, she didn't come out of nowhere being like ScarJo.
I don't think anyone thinks that. Like
she has her natural red hair in that film, hence the name Scarlett. Yeah. And it's just the movie is very the characters are really rich. They're really stripped down. You have Bill Murray, who's playing an American action film star who's been in so many films that he's now like an older guy, but he keeps getting hired for these action films. So he's kind of like an older Pierce Brosnan sort of character. And he's in Japan doing a Suntory whiskey ad. So the whole reason he's there, the thing of like hiring Hollywood celebrities to do one-off commercials in Japan. Mm-hmm. That's what he's there for, just to film a Suntory ad. And Scarlett Johansson, is the wife of a photographer. And that's what she's doing in Japan. She's basically just the wife who came along for the trip. And they both end up in the same hotel. And neither of them speak Japanese. And they run into each other and they strike up a romance. Even though they have crazy different backgrounds and are very far apart in age. They're both married, and they strike up a romance. And it's the idea of Lost in Translation is that they can't talk to their actual husband or wife, even though they speak English, and they literally can't speak to anybody at the hotel because they don't speak Japanese. They can only talk to each other. And while it sounds like a sappy idea, there's a lot of really good comedy in it. And like I said, the characters are very, very rich that it makes you want to watch it. Like, can you have a romance without ever actually fucking? Well, they don't.
Yes.
But it's a thoroughly life-changing romance for both of them. It's a film that's worth watching, and it doesn't have a happy ending.
Huh.
What
is it with you in films that don't have happy endings but romance subplots or plots?
What the fuck When? What do you mean?
Well, Casablanca.
Oh,
Isn't
okay.
that like one of your all-time favorite movies?
That is literally my all-time favorite movie.
Yeah, exactly. And it is a romance movie that doesn't have a traditional happy ending where leading guy gets leading girl.
So, what you want me to
Spoiler
do?
alerts, by the way, everybody.
Spoilers for Casablanca?
Yeah.
No, it's I think you're pretty much safe at this point.
Yeah.
Did anybody? Is there ever a movie where they end up together that I really liked? No, I'd have to think about that for a minute. It's a good question. Maybe I really am into the unhappy romantic ending. I'll think about it. I'll get back to you. That's a good question.
It's not unorthodox to be all for the tragic love story. Like, I can get behind a tragic love story just as much as the next person. In fact, it gets to the point where there are too many happy endings, and I'm just like, can someone die already in the plot? Like last night with Breaking Dawn Part 2.
I remember talking to a friend of mine, and I said, I can't stand movies that bring me down. I like movies that are like that I get behind, and I'm really invested in the characters, and that they're invigorating. And he said, like what? And I had just the night before watched again. What? Jesus Christ! I can't English today.
Someone's tired. West
I
Side
really am. I only slept for like 2 hours last night.
Well, maybe we should end this off early, like at 8.
No,
because I am also tired.
I had just watched The Departed. I just watched The Departed the night before, and he goes, "Enthused? A movie you can really get invigorated by? Doesn't like literally everybody die in that movie? Like, I mean, the entire main cast die horribly in that movie." I'm like,
wait, which movie?
The Departed.
Oh yeah, yes, that's another one. That was one I was thinking. Like, isn't that another one of Polly's favorite movies where it's all depressing at the end? Yes, that is one. Yes.
Why do you focus in on the end? Because that was my thought. It's you and he are not wrong, but I still think of that as being an invigorating movie because if the people that die, people either die well, die as they lived, or if they die badly, they're avenged. So what's the problem?
I mean, it's there's not a problem. What I'm saying is, it's not a happy ending film, which is fine. I don't mind that. But that seems to be your favorite go-to for films.
See, that's why I said it's an interesting question. It's like, are the only films, like, are all the films that I like? I remember when an ex-girlfriend pointed out to me, like, what is it with you? And pointed out this thing about films that I really like where the protagonist is like X. And I said, wait a minute. Because like it felt like an accusation. Because she said, what is it with you? Like the way you just did. And I felt like beset upon. I was like, what are you talking about? This no. She goes, oh, hold on, think about this. And then she just runs down like all these great films that I absolutely love. And I made her watch all of them. And she goes, you didn't see that theme that every single protagonist is like that? And I'm like, well, no, I didn't actually. So I don't know. I'm trying to think. There must be something that breaks the mold where the romance works out or it doesn't end up with like a truly tragic ending at the end. I don't know.
Because like, okay,
I know. I've got it. I've got it.
Oh.
Because you know, and this is how I just thought of it. Because in terms of like the protagonist being like a certain way, one of the most recent films that I had said we should watch this together because it's one of my favorite films, Grosse Pointe Blank. He ends up with the girl at the end of the film. It's a happy ending. There.
Okay. Ha ha ha. Well, okay, so I bring it up and I would like to discuss it with you because it's an interesting thought to pursue. Like certain created content resonates with us for a reason, right? And to analyze that reason is to reflect upon one's own psyche a little bit. And I think that's valuable information, personally.
I think, I hear you. And Quiz just Grosse Point Blank is one of his favorites as well, and it is. We've discussed it in detail. It's a fantastic film if you haven't seen it. People call it a comedy, but it's like really a black comedy. It's underrated in terms of the layers there are to that movie. Like, I'm not talking layers like Shakespeare, but like, no, it's operating on many layers. There's really dark drama mixed in with light comedy, mixed in with black comedy. It's odd, and then action too. So Quiz said something. He said, and I call him out for Warhammer not having any affirmation, and I still, to a large degree, hold on to that. If you think about a film like The Departed, all kinds of things are affirmed in The Departed. And I know Quiz is just being a jerk ass by saying, I get it, but but literally all kinds of things are affirmed in. It's like it is wrong to spy on people. You have to do what's right regardless of getting paid well to do it. The tearing between what does it really matter to murder? I mean, who cares? Everyone around me is a murderer. Does it really make a difference if I become one too? Like, and he decides that yes, it really does matter. I don't want to be like these guys around me, because I just don't want the constant paranoia of becoming a murderer to follow me around. All kinds of fucking things are affirmed. Is it okay to constantly lie to your life partner if it makes things better, to keep things on an even keel? Or are you living an inherently fucked up life by doing so that's going to inevitably blow up in your face? There's all sorts of things that are affirmed in that film. As be like, and when things blow up in their face, the affirmation is that no, it doesn't work out. God, Warhammer 40K is just grim, dark personified, man. It's just like death and more death. And I remember the time that I came to that realization, I didn't even use that term affirmation, is that it got to a point where I was just like, God, it's like everything is just so, like everything is just ongoing. And he goes, well, the tagline for Warhammer 40K, Polly, really is, in the grim, dark future, there is nothing but war. And I was like, Jesus Christ, are you serious? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, my God.
Oof. Big oof. I've never seen that movie. Or movie? Warhammer 40K.
Well, it's not a movie. It's like an entire intellectual property of the tabletop game and video games and
nope, never ever experienced it.
Oh yeah, okay. There is only war. The only thing that there is war. Endless war for its own sake. And I mean, it's not for its own sake. It's for the Imperium of Man to survive, because there's all these horrible mutated creatures from the immaterium that are being warped and distorted into strange people and forces of evil and chaos gods that are blah blah. It's like, oh my God.
Is that a direct quote from the film?
Like, think about this for a second. Twilight affirms more than Warhammer 40K.
Oof. Like what, Polly? What did you take away from Breaking Dawn and Eclipse and New Moon and Twilight?
That the essential reality of we talked about it before we even started watching the first movie, because Far and I had discussed like all of the missed opportunities, and then we all three went on to discuss all of the missed opportunities, right? There's core kernels of some really good ideas going on in Twilight, but every one of them is just passed by or made into something stupid for the sake of what the Stephanie Meyer, the writer of the novels, of what she was actually interested in, which is just the interpersonal relationships and the love triangle. That's that. Well, the love triangle is the core thing, and then all the other interpersonal relationships that are going on past that point. And Bella experiencing all of these things, and everyone just wanting to like her and involve her, and ever more complex interpersonal relationships, and all the vampiric lore and all the other stuff, and the stuff that might actually draw someone else in to be interested in and do expanded universe stuff just falls away, because Stephanie Meyer simply wasn't interested in it. She was interested in just telling like a soap opera, and it just so happens to be set in a world where vampires and werewolves are there.
I don't know if soap opera is the right word for it, because a soap opera would have a great deal more complexity to it in the character interactions, whereas literally the entire plot revolved around Bella, and Bella entirely revolved around her relationship with Edward, and that was it. That was the extent of the complexity of the plot. Everything else was of very little consequence. So we all knew where the train was going at the end.
Yeah, and a very poorly formed love triangle. It was like a love. I mean, what? There was a radiant angle off of a straight line that clearly ended in a dead end after a few inches. Like that was it. There was no expectation at any moment I had in any one of those 5 films that she was going to end up with Jacob. There was never any threat or concern of it or anything. It was all it all felt incredibly shoehorned in. It was like Edward. Like, I mean, that's all she ever talked about and thought about. And she even says it at one point in one movie.
It was always Edward. It will always be Edward.
Yeah. Full wretch. Full wretch.
Thank you, the next 6 minutes, for the donation over on the Streamlabs. Congrats on popping your Twitch cherry there, Weebs. She is now a Twitch thought. Ha 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 ha. JK Weebo. You still may be a trap, though. Regardless, trap, bot, or none of the above, Weebs is awesome. Sub, y'all. Buy merch. Thanks again for my 5th year stream. Oh, it was my pleasure. I'm so glad I could be there. And again, guys, go sub to the next 6 minutes. He awesome. But while you're subbing to people, sub to Polydub. His link is in the description.
Yeah, I haven't. I have also had my culling go on of subs. Yeah. It was actually only like 8 subs that I lost over the past couple of weeks from the TOS cullings that have gone on, killing off dead channels, that sort of thing, whatever way you want to look at it.
Oh, I've had like more than 50.
I was team guy who almost hit Bella with a car. One black guy in the town? You were team one black guy in the town?
The one, actually, no, the only other, the one human black guy, because there was another black guy, but he was killed off in the second movie.
Oh, yeah, Laurent. I'm not going to lie, okay? I was made to watch those films by an ex-girlfriend, and then we watched them a second time, right? And then I watched them with Far and Platty, and Lucky Pop-Tart came in a little bit. And then Far came up with the tragically horrid idea that we watch all 5 films like marathon style. And we did over 3 days. And that was rough. God damn it, Far. And like during Christmas too. Like, Jesus, way to bring a dower onto the season, man. But anyway,
yeah.
And I did not notice until we were watching it that the other vampire that they referred to as the Cullens referred to as their cousins, that she was in a relationship with Laurent, and that was her motivation to go tell the Volturi. Because it was handled in one fucking sentence. Listen, chat, one fucking sentence, and it's a whole fucking reason for her big fucking betrayal and the entire threat that comes upon them during the final movie that leads to this big showdown and all of this stuff. And they handle it in one fucking sentence. And you're watching those movies multiple times, and I didn't see it. Or hear it or notice it, whatever you want to call it.
I think it was touched on more in the books, but then they just forgot to add it to the movies and had to last minute shoehorn it in there because they forgot it conveniently. Because he died in the second movie. They didn't bring it up until at least the 4th movie. That was a thing. And then it became the crux upon which the 5th movie transpired.
Well, and I mean, it's supposed to be such a crucial thing because, okay, so you got these vampires and their natural enemies are the werewolves. And so like there's this tension. And Bella is supposedly in love with this one guy who turns out to be a werewolf and this one guy who turns out to be a vampire. And because they all love her so much and they need to protect her, they need to get along against an outside threat. But Laurent was a vampire and he was banging, or I don't understand. Like he could see past it. I don't
know.
Okay, so Keeverdam says, wasn't Bella Mary Sue? And then William says, not cool enough to be a Mary Sue. She was too hollow to be a Mary Sue. There was nothing like self-operating, self-insert, meaning whatever girl's reading the book can be Bella. I guess if you want to go that far with Mary Sue, you can.
I think that was the purpose behind Bella, to be a non-entity enough that you could envision yourself as a character, and that has a tendency to work out if done correctly. I mean, Harry Potter was a self-insert character for all intents and purposes. He wasn't so distinct that the average reader, who was like 11 at the time, couldn't see themselves as being Harry in the books. But Bella was such a passive character because literally everything happened to her until she marginally started to take initiative later on in the series. But she was such a passive character. Everything always happened to her. She was always reacting to things happening. There was no initiative that she took. And that was what super annoyed me about her character overall.
And there were constant moments in the film where it's just, I can't believe that somebody actually wrote that line with the lack of self-awareness you would have to write that line. Like Bella says, the werewolves and the vampires were getting along. It was a tense truce, but that wasn't what it was important anymore, because now it was about my safety. And you're like, but why does anyone care? Who are you to them? Like the moment Bella walks in a room, everybody is suddenly willing to turn their entire life upside down for this little dish rag 2x4.
Well, Polly, that is very swiftly established in the first book. She is the new girl to Forest Washington. Bella frickin' Swan. That is who she is. She's the new girl. And she carries that new girl title with her wherever she goes, because she is that fresh hot bang, that Marvel. That, girl, who you?
They haven't had anyone new in that town in that fucking long that everyone. Jesus Christ. Thank you, Next Express, for the donation. He says, every time you practice the way of the otter, you gain karma and strengthen your chi. For epic mojo, donate to an Otter's Potato Fund so that the Otter vibes will reach to that next level of nirvana. Inner peace is your destiny. Sub to Polly for enlightenment. I agree. Give me money now for enlightenment. That's how it works.
Gilcata goes, huh?
What?
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 What happened?
What? You said I look like what?
I did?
Okay, I guess not. Gilcado says her blood is crack. Basically, yeah, it's what it's established as in the books, because she smells so good.
Well, okay, that explains the vampires. Doesn't explain the werewolves. They don't want blood.
The werewolves are because Jacob is in love with her, and so they have to they're obligated to defend her, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, no, a lot of what happens in the third book regarding the werewolves doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. But
Keeverdam says that his sister loves those films and he only saw them through Riff Tracks. Good for you. The fucking Riff Tracks editions were fucking hilarious. The second time we watched them, me and my ex-girlfriend, we watched the Riff Tracks editions. I was like, I'm going to introduce you to one of the greatest comedic things available online, Riff Tracks. And yeah, there's been a bunch of movies that I have only seen through Riff Tracks. There's no fucking way I would have seen it otherwise. Fast and Furious. Like, why would I watch that? Yeah, I wouldn't have watched that independently of it. Riff Tracks. No fucking way.
I'm going to tell Vin Diesel on you.
You know what's funny is I have all the Harry Potter films as Riff Tracks, and I still haven't fucking watched them.
Really?
Yeah, because the first 20 minutes of the first film turned me off that bad that I was like, fuck this noise.
What's wrong with you? Who hurt you as a child?
They made him live under the stairs.
Yeah.
They kept shooing away an owl. I was like, this is so stupid. I turned it off.
Oh my gosh. Watch it when you were 11, how about? And then come talk to me.
Watch it when I was 11?
Yeah, go back in time, shove it in 11-year-old you's face, and then we can have a discussion.
Keeverdam says, I'm a lady, sir. Smiley face. Well, I apologize.
Hey, Polly.
Mhm.
Cocktail hour and Weebo is drinking water. Yeah, because I'm tired, which is what I'm about to inform Polly of. Polly, I'm tired. Can we go for like another 5 minutes and then
Mhm.
I go night-night?
Mhm.
I'm still recovering from this weekend.
I thought
Yes, I'm
Prospero
sure
was a
you-
dude for like months.
I'm sorry, what?
I
What?
thought Prospero?
Of the Minions?
Yeah. I thought she was a dude for like months.
Thank you for sharing. That was left field, sir. I don't know what to do with this.
Well, Keeverdam just corrected me and said, "I'm a lady."
Oh,
This
okay.
isn't the first time.
Yeah,
I don't know. People are saying clever, intelligent things in chat. What am I to assume? See what I just did there?
no.
If someone's saying something clever and intelligent, they must be a man.
Oh. Fuck you.
It was a joke, and you see this, guys. Once I edit and post those fucking those commentary tracks, you can go watch it happen again and again and again. Weebo Jones is just
I'm the anti-joke police.
Wait, and then it makes me realize how like half my jokes are like quippy, like they're not jokes at all. They're just quippy remarks that are meant for little repartee at best, And so it's like, well, that wasn't exactly funny. And I was like, well, it wasn't meant to generate belly chuckling guffaws. It was
Polly, the reason I do it is because you get so outraged at it, and then it's hilarious for me to witness, to behold. Most of the time, not all of the time. Sometimes I genuinely am confused, and so then you do have to explain it to me, and that does ruin the joke.
right.
But oftentimes, I do it on purpose to just poke the bear a little bit.
Yeah. Hey, Mr. Knows has probably stopped digging the trench. Yeah, exactly. So I'm not. This hole isn't getting any higher, no matter how much I dig. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, so Daniel Fullman asked me how I quit my job, if I did anything clever. No. I typed up a note, and I went into my boss's office after I asked him, hey, you busy? When you get a second, can I come in? He's like, yeah, sure, come on down. So I walk into his office, and he goes, so when you quitting? When's your last day? Apparently he knew it was coming. Yeah, okay, interesting. Because he's like, yeah, when people say they want to talk to me in my office when I'm free, it's never usually a good sign.
Oh, Gilcado says casual sexism, very noir. Yes, it is. But femme fatales and manipulators of men is also very noir. Like there's no redeemable people in noir. That's kind of it's very egalitarian in that way. They're all kind of scummy. You know what I mean? Except for the actually nice people who end up just being hapless victims.
Yep.
Yeah.
R.I.P. and peace those people.
But that reminds me of something to get back to. But he also says, Polly, Gocado says, Polly, did you try Backstroke of the West? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I went and watched it, and I was like, what is this Backstroke of the West? I don't even get this. It, if you don't remember Weebo, I looked it up, and it was a bad bootleg of Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith that has horribly translated from Mandarin, possibly Cantonese. I don't know.
It's translated from English to Mandarin back to English.
So, and I ended up watching the whole thing, had never heard of it. And Inquisitor's like, you had never heard of that before? Nope, just came across it. I ended up watching like just a few minutes of it to see what it was like. Ended up watching the whole thing. Holy shit, was it funny. I had a great time. That was a blast. Thank you for recommending that. And then Far and I went over to, with that kind of inspiration, we took the Navy SEALs copy pasta and went over to Google and Bing Translate and translated through a dozen languages and then back to English just to see what it would end up like. Apparently the Navy SEAL is trained in the ways of garlic, and strange things end up occurring. It's pretty awesome.
We should do this with a lot of other things, honestly. Yeah. So who was it? Keeper Dam asks, you quit your job? What are you now? A housewife. Software engineer. Thank you. That's what I'm
Software
doing.
engineer housewife.
Basically, yeah.
Well, you're working from home, right?
I will be because of COVID. And I do have the opportunity to do that too when we're not doing COVID, because as a software engineer, I don't really need to be on site. I just need to be reachable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I hear you.
And I just need my laptop from work. So
speaking of Gil Cotto's reference to casual sexism, the tendency on social media and for miserable Hollywood bitches like Brie Larson to talk about white men, and it's always white women who are doing this, right? And they'll go like, white dudes. And what would you say the analogous female counterpart is to dude? Chick? Dame? What would you say it is?
I have to think about this actually. So white dudes.
Yeah.
Like, are we using that as a whole phrase?
Yeah, because they're saying it with complete contempt.
Oh,
I was going through
white Karens.
White Karens. Well,
Karens.
that kind of
Is that not the same?
Yeah, because I mean, it means a Karen's like a very specific thing, right?
Becky.
White chick.
Or Brittany.
Yeah.
They just take a generic white people name and they just attach it to the person.
Or bitch.
In my experience.
I don't think bitch will cover it. I cannot picture Brie Larson responding very well to being called a chick. Oh, especially a white chick over and over again. Where it's like, oh, listen, I'm creating my YouTube channel to be very inclusive. Who cares what a white chick thinks? But how dare you with your patriarchal, sexist? And it's like, listen to you, you miserable sexist bitch. Like it I would call you racist, but it's not racist the way you talk, like speaking of white men with that level of contempt. Do you hate your father that badly or yourself? Because it's a self-hate thing that you're engaged in right now.
It's got to be
still makes me angry to think about
level.
it. Maybe it is. I don't know. It's like when you are an angry person online and you want to be a social justice person and you're a white woman, who is it okay to rage against? Well, there's white men. It's the only target left that's still viable, right? No matter how incredibly ridiculous it looks. Especially because it's not being based in anything. You're not talking about like a kind of white guy. You're talking about, I think I've been I don't want to be interviewed by any white dudes when I'm promoting Captain Marvel. And did you hear the fantastic rumor that's going around right now, Weebo?
What?
And it's because you didn't watch the last comic book curation. That's why you don't know the rumor.
Been busy, sorry.
Yeah, that they're not looking to cast her for the next movie. Yeah, I would love to see her career crash and burn and she's stuck doing community dinner theater. That'd be great.
No. That's too steep a fall for her initially. Let's start out at least at the tampon commercials. Because I want to see Amy Schumer get the boot.
You want to see Amy Schumer boot from tampon commercials?
Yeah.
And Brie Larson has to take over those spots?
Mm-hmm.
See, so this comes up because the other day I was getting a haircut, and while I'm sitting there with a fucking surgical mask on getting a haircut, which is really weird, by the way.
Yeah.
I finally got my COVID haircut off, and the TV that was in the background, like, I'm sitting in the barber's chair and I'm looking at the mirror in front of me, which is reflecting the TV behind me, and I see Amy Schumer doing a Tampax ad. And the sound wasn't on, but it was her, and she was like extra chunky and everything. Like, ugh, that fucking woman. and she's like, do you need? And there was like apparently 4 kinds of tampons or whatever. And she's like, is it this one or this one? She's holding up the various boxes, and she was probably telling some stupid joke that she thought was hilarious because they hired her because she's a totally super talented comedian. And I'm thinking, you're doing Tampax ads? Is this woman raking in cash from every direction, or is she fallen so far that this is the only gig she could get? I was actually legitimately curious because I was sitting in a barber chair and I had nothing else to think about.
Well, the times are tough with no one making any actual movies, and of course they're not going to settle with subpar for the ones that they're producing that are supposed to be like top tier movies.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably why she's not getting any work.
Isn't it a wonderful idea to think that these people that survive, like Hollywood stars and directors, and everybody deeply involved in celebrity culture? This one's for you, Quiz. He really hates celebrities, and I don't blame him. He paints with a really broad brush when he talks about celebrity culture. It's like Jesus, but that live off of access media and doing interviews and being relevant in the ways that you're relevant by being promoted and going to red carpet events and so on and so forth. And they can't do any of that. So they're put in the position of having to do half-ass shit on social media to keep themselves relevant. They all launch. Do you know how many new podcasts have come out since COVID happened? Because they can do it remotely, right? And it's like, yeah, I need to stay relevant. I need to interview other famous people like myself. And if Joe Rogan can do it, surely I can do it.
Sure.
It's like, yeah. And it's like, well, not really, because remember that Imagine thing, John Lennon's Imagine, all of them. Oh God, that was glorious. What?
No, I remember it, but I don't want to remember it.
All of those clearly orchestrated attempts at social media virality, that was priceless. It's, a bunch of publicists were sitting around going, okay, we got this idea. Here's what's going to happen, and everyone's going to be talking about it.
That song was a mistake. Like, not that recording of it, but the fact that that song exists at all is a mistake.
If there was ever proof that he was a self-righteous hippie, phony, I mean, the guy was like a multi-millionaire when he wrote that song, living in a super exclusive apartment and jet setting all over the world. And like, imagine there's no money and we're all together singing Kumbaya, and imagine there's no religion, and imagine there's no, yeah, if only we had the money to find our soulmate and sit in bed and protest. You're protesting by sitting in bed, asleep in, where you invite media to come in and take pictures and interview you while you sit in. He's the original slacktivist. And you know what? I remember one time where I said, John Lennon I was at work and I said, John Lennon is a fucking huge phony to me. Somebody said like the Beatles were important. And I said, who bugs me about the Beatles is John Lennon. The manager said, why? I said, because John, he's a big phony. I mean, all of his bullshit. I mean, the guy was constantly raging against the U.S. government, constantly talking about the Vietnam War, constantly talking about the oppression and the imperialism of America and blah, blah, blah. And he was surprised that the U.S. State Department got a hold of him and said, hey, you know what? You have overstayed your visa in this country by a long time. You're in this country illegally. Why don't you get out? Here's a deportation order. He's like, oh my God, look at the oppression. It's like, dude, you're a globally famous celebrity constantly criticizing the shit out of this government. You're in the country illegally and you're surprised they eventually figured out, like, maybe, why is this guy here? Isn't he a United Kingdom citizen? Yeah. What's he even doing here? And they find out you're there illegally, and so they give you a deportation order, and you're surprised?
Surprise Pikachu face.
Hey, I have a good meme for that.
The surprise Pikachu face, duh.
I do.
All right, after you show me the meme, we gotta wrap this up because I am slowly pumpkining out. I only got like 5 hours of sleep last night. It was a big sad. Big sad.
5?
Alpha and Omega. Yeah, only 5. Alpha and Omega says, I can see in Weebo's eyes. She's ready to go. Yeah, I have work in the morning. And I have pulled until 3 in the mornings the last 2 days. So my sleep schedule's all fucked up. Oh, meme management. Don't use the laser engraver for non-work related purposes. Uses laser engraver for non-work related purposes. Management. Sounds about right.
It's kind of dumb, but I think it's funny as fuck. It made me laugh.
And on that note, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining myself and Polly this fine evening for our weekly show Cocktail Hour, where we literally talk about anything and everything, and no one brings like an actual plot to the conversation. It just kind of goes in all of the different directions somehow. Yeah. And we end up here an hour and a half, 2 hours later. Thank you so much for sharing, liking, commenting, subscribing if you did. Thank you to those who donated as well. You guys make this all happen. We deeply appreciate it. Polly, thank you for joining me.
Well, thank you for having me, Weebo.
Oh, I'm so glad you could come. And I'm so glad that you were on time this one.
I know, right? And
You
it's December 13th.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Mark it in your calendars, ladies and gentlemen. This is
Well, no, it's just there's lots of Christmas tide time left. So enjoy some Hollywood films. Enjoy some Christmas films, whether or not they're from Hollywood.
Yeah.
Chaos Eve and I tonight will be watching Krampus.
Ooh.
Christmas horror film. Or suspense, as I understand. It's not so much horror.
I haven't seen it, so I wouldn't know. But good luck. Have fun.
Well, we've got future plans for other films, right? We got other scheduled.
Yes, we do. But most pressingly, what we have next is the MCU recording tomorrow.
Oh, that's right.
Starting at 7.
That's tomorrow?
That is tomorrow.
It's a good thing I put in my calendar out and never would have fucking remember. Guys, I put these things in the calendar.
After I've been nagging him about these for so many years.
I did it. It happened.
We're so proud.
All right. Thank you, everybody. And go sub to my channel. There's fun stuff going on over there.
Mm-hmm. Go sub to Polly's channel. It's in the description. Do it.
And the Noir Bar Christmas streams are starting soon. I have material for them. It'll be fun.
Ooh.
And I'm going to drag AP on.
Ooh. Well, there you go.
That's my plan anyway. We'll see if he stays up late enough to manage to come over. I don't know. I think he has a show that's called Late Night, but it's really not happening that late because like he's in Texas and Los Tejas and claims that it's late night, but it's really only like 10:30 where he's at when he's doing the show.
Late.
That's not maybe if you're like a
now that I'll be waking up at like 4 a.m. to go to work at 5. Yeah, it'll be late.
Yeah, Gilcotto, Access Point. Yes, I'll be having Access Point on. No, Adonis Paul.
Yeah.
The one and only. I'm going to see if I can drag him on for a show. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
And then Weebo, too. I don't care if she's a software engineer. Your best work's done when you're dead tired.
Yes, but I want to enjoy my first week, please and thank you.
With the hopeful hands. Well, Friday night. We'll do it next Friday. How about that?
Next Friday, the 18th?
Why are you looking with such horror? What's going on?
It's my grandma's birthday. I can't miss that.
No, okay. Well, I didn't know that shit. Fuck.
That's Nana Jones's birthday. We cannot do anything on that day other than celebrate her life.
Okay, then the 19th it is.
Did I just get recruited for something? And okay. Yeah, sure, that's fine.
Well, you volunteered. I heard it. Didn't you hear chat? I heard it.
We'll talk about this tomorrow. I don't know what I'm doing. Actually, I don't know if that'll work yet. I have to figure it out because I might have made plans already.
All right, we'll figure it out.
We'll talk tomorrow about it. All right. Guys.
Have a good night, everyone.
Joining us. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place, same honor, same face. What's up? Bye.
Laters.